talking to your homegirl type of book, but your homegirl a little freak. Sarah J Maas is that girl. Sarah J Maas is that girl, okay? But Kennedy, right? Me and Kennedy go together real bad, okay? Real bad. I know these are fictional characters, but if I could fight that man, I would. Don't get me wrong, all of them are good, but some of them are great. Okay, welcome back. So let's talk books. So last year, 2024, first of all, happy new year. But last year I really got back into reading. It was like a goal of mine to read more books, and I had a goal of 12 books and I read 34. I read 34 books, and I started kind of sharing that on like my Instagram and stuff, and people have been asking like what books I should read or how to get back into reading and things like that. So I figured we'll make a video. Number one recommendation, Verity. If you have not read Verity yet, and you're like, okay, I want to read, I don't know what to read, and you want something that's gonna like capture your attention, this is it. So basically there's this author that is like incapacitated, and she is committed to finishing the series, right? She was contracted to write the series. So her husband finds another author to complete the series for his wife, right? It follows that story. It get real crazy, y'all. Like, this still lives rent-free in my mind, and I read this like last February or March. I recommend this to everybody. 5 out of 5. And then and that's like a thriller or a suspense type of book, so really good. If you are maybe into like fantasy a little bit, or you don't really know but you're like a Disney girl, this is for my Disney girls. This was actually the first book that I read last year, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cute, and also I loved it, and it just like spoke to my inner child. It's called Almost There. It's a twisted tale, so basically it's like a spin-off of the Disney story Princess and the Frog, and pretty much it has like an alternate ending to the Princess and the Frog. So instead of Tiana not like succumbing to the Shadow Man and all this different stuff or whatever, pretty much it follows the story of if she took the Shadow Man up on his offer. And so yeah, very cute, also a little dark, not gonna lie. It's like a little, it's like a fantasy suspense kind of fun type of story. It is like, if you've seen Princess and the Frog, you know it has like that kind of like voodoo type of vibe, so just keep that in mind, that it does get a little spirituality in it, that you be like, I rebuke it. But yeah, also in fantasy, and y'all, I did not think I was a fantasy girl. I really was like, I'm not reading fantasy, it's not my jam, like I'm not doing it. I really think I'm a fantasy girl. Like, I thought I was thriller through and through, but baby. So keeping on the train of fantasy, Fourth Wing. This is also very popular on like TikTok and stuff. And so basically there's this girl, she's like the princess or whatever. Pretty much her mom, like it's a lot going on, and her mom sends her to this like writing school to be a writer. She wanted to be a scribe, so like somebody who like keeps records, bookkeeping, that type of thing or whatever. That's what her dad did, and her mom pretty much sends her off to this like to the writer quadrant, and pretty much it follows the story of like her beating all odds and learning to ride a dragon, and it's one of those type of stories, like the dragon, the magic, all that type of vibe. But I don't know, I really liked it. It's like a romantasy actually, so it has like romance but also fantasy. I liked it. I did enjoy it. I did listen to it, but I enjoyed it so much that I went and bought it. So I have this one, and I actually have the second book in the series to this as well, and the third book comes out this year, but I obviously don't have it yet. And then there was one more fantasy that I don't have a physical copy of, but I did really enjoy it. Akatar, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Y'all, Sarah J Maas is that girl. Sarah J Maas is that girl, okay? And I did listen to this. So that was actually my first fantasy, and I listened to it, regular version, not the dramatic. It was what introduced me into fantasy, and then I was just like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm locked in. Like, so good, right? So good. It does start out like a little slow. It kind of like, but it is to give you like the full like backstory and stuff. And basically this girl who's a hunter, her family's on like they're poor, they're impoverished, they're like on the brink of like starvation, and she is like hunting and like taking care of her family, and she kills one of the Fae people, and then it becomes this whole thing, right? Like, it's a whole story. Like, it follows that whole storyline of pretty much like her having to answer for the murder she committed. She ends up like falling in love, and like, but before she, it's a lot, okay? But I read the entire series last year. I was like, next one. Like, what do I, and like when I finished it, I was like, what do I do now? What do I do now? Some people didn't like it. I gave it 3.5 stars. As far as A Court of Thorns and Roses, Akatar, the first book, and it's because I rated it after I read the second book, and I was like, oh my god, it just gets so much better. So if you already read it and you're like, or you started reading it and you're like, I'm not really like, this isn't my pod, this is my jam, keep reading. It gets so good. Okay, that's 4 so far, and I'm trying to give y'all stuff that's in like every genre, because everything isn't for everyone. Housemaid. This is the first book. So good. It's a quick read, so it's not super long. It's like 310 pages, 15, something like that. And pretty much there's this girl, she just got out of prison, and she went to go like start cleaning this house or whatever. She gets this job as a maid in this home, right? I should make sure I had the right one. Okay, yeah, so she gets a job as a maid in this home with this like well-off and well-to-do family or whatever, and it's just giving her weird vibes about like whatever's going on, and she's just like, what's wrong with this wife? Like, she's just so mean, and she's so angry, and she's sloppy, like, I don't understand. The daughter's mean. It's just all these things, right? And pretty much ends up following the story of like what's really going on in this house. And yeah, I don't know. I really was like, I'm a Frida McFadden fan. Like, Frida can do no wrong. And then she started to kind of do wrong. I think she was just rushing books or whatever. But this one was really good. There's 3 books in the series. There's Housemaid Secrets, and something else that I can't remember right now. But pretty much the first 2 are really good. The third one gets a little like, I just felt like she was missing stuff. But it was like, all of them are good. Don't get me wrong, all of them are good, but some of them are great. This is one that is great. So if you like thrillers, you want a quick read, you want something that's gonna like capture and keep your attention, something that you're gonna enjoy, definitely recommend that. I'm gonna describe it as a drama, but it's called Monday's Not Coming. And pretty much this girl is best friends with another little girl called Monday. I'm not gonna call her a little girl, they're teens, but she's best friends with this girl called Monday, and they do like everything together. They're like sisters basically, and basically Monday ends up missing. So she's trying to figure out like what happened to her best friend. Like she's like following the story. Like, I'm coming to your house. I'm asking the teachers. I'm having like the police like look for you, and I'm just trying to figure out what happened. Like, what happened to my best friend? And pretty much everybody failed. Both of these little girls. And as you it kind of gets like, you have to follow it, because it's one of those books where like it does get a little like, wait, what happened, or like, did I miss something? Because it kind of jumps back and forth between like when her and Monday were like doing everything together and being best friends, and then when she's looking for her best friend, and then also fast forward of like what happened after they found Monday and all that stuff. So it's a lot. I had to find like a positive, like happy book after this. I'm not gonna lie, this one made me really sad. Some people said it made them cry. It didn't make me cry, but it did make me really sad, and I had to like go watch a Disney movie or something afterwards, because yeah, very popular. Abby Jimenez, Part of Your World. I haven't read the rest of the books in the series, but this one was really cute. It's giving Hallmark. This gives Hallmark. And pretty much this lady finds like this younger guy. Her car gets stuck. This guy helps her, and she has this like ideal life that she's supposed to be living with this well-off man, and blah blah blah, this very good job and this home, and she has the, you know, the picture perfect whatever life. But she meets this guy after she like, her car got stuck or whatever in this small town. And Hallmark, y'all. Very cute, very sweet story, very like, I don't know, I think it's fun for like if you're gonna read something like you just want something cozy, something cute, something lighthearted. This is it. And then this one a little spicy. It's called Curvy Girl Summer. It's by Danielle Allen. And pretty much this girl is about to be 30, and she's like, I need a man. I need to have a man for my birthday party, because she told her family she had a man, and her family's like trying to hook her up with somebody, or you know, like, you need a man, and when you gonna get married, when you gonna settle down. They're on that type of vibe. And she's like, I don't need no man, and let me live my life, and I'm minding my business type of deal. And then they're like, you're not getting any younger, you're not getting any smaller. They're doing all that type of stuff to her anyways. And so she decides to download a dating app and meet some of the people that she's like, you know, trying to find her man. And so she's at the bar, and she ends up like, the bartender ends up like trying to help her like find her ideal man, and it kind of follows that story or whatever. It got some spice in it. It get a little if you want to like romance, but also like very realistic, you talking to your homegirl type of book, but your homegirl a little freak, yeah, this this is the one. And then my last two books, and they go hand in hand, okay, it's part of a series. It's part of Skyland series. It's part of the Skyland series, and it's by Kennedy Ryan. And my girl can do no wrong, okay? I thought, I was like I'm a Sarah J Maas fan, I'm a Freida McFadden fan, but Kennedy Ryan, me and Kennedy go together real bad, okay? Real bad. This series, and I'm waiting on the third one. I already pre-ordered it, okay? But before I let go, it's the first book in the series, and pretty much there's this divorced couple. They have kids, they run a business together, so they have to like do life together. Their lives are very much intermingled, and they have to operate in that, but also like navigate all the other things that have transpired, but they're divorced. So like his aunt passed, she experienced loss. I don't want to tell y'all, but she experienced loss as well, and like they're following that story of like what's happening within like their family, trying to heal and move forward while they're also divorced and running their business and living life and trying to show up for their friends and themselves and things like that or whatever. Very sweet. Like, you're like, I'm rooting for you. Like, and her friends, if y'all don't have no friends like Hendrix and Soledad, get you some of them. But this is more of a romance for sure, like a true romance. This Could Be Us is the second book in the series, and this follows Soledad's story. So we kind of learn a little bit about Soledad and Hendrix from the first book, from Before I Let Go, but we really dive into her story in this book. And pretty much I've recently finished this and I'm still like, I want to fight that man. But okay, so she's married to this well-off man or whatever. She's a stay-at-home mom and wife, and she takes care of her family, and that's like her joy. She enjoys doing that. She's proud about it. She's very happy about it. She's also involved with like her kids' lives and all that stuff or whatever. Like, when you think of like picture perfect wife, mom, stay-at-home, she's it. Okay, like, she's the, if I could make your water from scratch, I would. And her husband, old raggedy behind, he gets caught up in some stuff, and so she ends up going through this whole like ordeal of like dealing with the things that her husband has done while keeping, like, trying to protect her girls, her daughters, figuring out who she is outside of being a mom and a wife, finding joy again, finding peace again, and then also inviting love back into her life and what that looks like. And she's navigating that, like figuring out what to do on her own and really trusting herself, but also leaning on others, but not in a way where like it can devastate her. Y'all, when I say so good, so good, so good. And I know these are fictional characters, but if I could fight that man, I would. Like, so good. So yeah, those are my 10 book recommendations for beginners. I think if you pick up any one of these, or even like outside of my very poor recap of them, obviously you can tell which ones I liked more than others, or I remembered because my memory can be kind of shot. But I definitely recommend like getting back into reading, finding something that like brings you joy and happiness outside of like other vices. I really think that everybody's a reader at heart. Everybody, you just have to kind of find like what's your jam, like what do you like. If you like more like self-help books, if you're like, I want like non-fiction, I'm more into like historical things, or you know, whatever. I have some recommendations for that, not a lot, because I don't know, it'd be too much going on in the world anyways. I need something to distract me, not something to like stress me out even more. I greatly appreciate you guys joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video.